All right, welcome to the first episode of Critical Sense of Making Sessions, facilitated by Revolutionary Rika. I'm your girl, Revolutionary Rika, social justice minded, doctoral candidate, longtime youth developer, educator, community activist, sister, daughter, friend, granddaughter, niece, cousin, all those roles. That's Revolutionary Rika. And so I decided to create some critical sense making sessions so we could create a space where people could discuss the current events and then also the current challenges we face in our world and try to make critical sense of it. Try to make sense of what we experienced in our childhood and the things that we've overcome in our walk along this journey. And I think this space will help us make critical sense of that and help us learn how to navigate the challenges that come our way during our journey in life. And so my hope is that you'll tune in every 2 weeks to hear what not just myself, but invited guests have to say about some hot topics, as well as the issues and challenges that African Americans face in the United States and around the world today. So we are going to get started here. And I just want you to know, my shows are raw and uncut. Life is raw and uncut. You don't get a second do-over. You don't get a second chance. You make that boo-boo, you make that boo-boo. You pull your big girl's panties up, you walk in it, you own it, you eat that humble pie, and you move on. It's just that simple. So if we make mistakes, we're going to laugh through them. We're going to crack jokes or whatever, but we're going to keep pushing because I definitely feel like this space is needed right now. It has been needed for a long time, and it is important for each of us to carve out time and space to make critical sense of what's going on so we do not allow it to drive us crazy. So today I want to introduce my first guest on our first episode. Her name is LaVette Grant. She is a former public school student as well as a current public school parent. And so today's topic and this week's topic is education. We're gonna talk education from our own experiences to what's currently taking place in education, what would be ideal in education, and how we can provide equity for all students in education. So kick back, shake them dreads, turn up, whatever it is you need to do to get in the space to listen and hear us out. LaVette, I got you right in the middle of that drink. My bad. I wasn't.
Yes, that's okay. I had to wet the whistle. Again, my name is LaVette Grant. I am here as a guest. I am currently working for county government in a supervisory role where I lead a team. I've been there a year. Well, doing that position a year, and I'm happy. I'm able to help guide my team and make sure that the customers, the community is taken care of. As far as me today, I'm coming not professional as I would Monday through Friday. Not the mom, making sure to keep the kids straight. I'm coming as me right now. I'm coming as a woman who has a lot of challenges, but is constantly fighting through to make sure that I get things done in my life. Mm-hmm. So that's me. I'm here.
Awesome. Well, welcome, and we'll have to remember this moment because you're making history. You're the first guest on the Critical Sense Making Sessions. Woo! So we welcome you. We welcome your expertise. We welcome your truth, your authentic self that you've decided to bring here today. I appreciate that. One thing I am working on is no longer playing the imposter role. So definitely showing up authentically me in whatever space I'm in, and being present and engaged. not distracted by all the things society is trying to throw at us so that we are off our game. So again, I appreciate you for coming, and I thank you, and I look forward to the conversation that we're going to have.
All right, let's go.
So to kick it off, at the end of the spring semester, which we were all living our lives in March, and COVID happened, and so we were in school, and schools immediately within a week were able to put everything online, and so they didn't miss a beat. And I call that moving at the speed of whiteness. I don't necessarily call it that, but people in my cohort did, and so I've taken that term up and been using it. And so I kind of felt like there should have been a pause, but it wasn't, and that's okay. And so through what I've been learning in my doctoral program, which is on educational leadership for social justice, I've been learning a lot about your story and healing and all these things. And at that point, these things had come to the surface, right? And so they come online, and we're doing these assignments, and I'm getting impacted by the speakers. My own trauma is starting to come and bubble up to the surface. I'm having conversations with my grandmother, not knowing in a few months she would be gone, but definitely having like 2.5-hour conversations, just dropping pearls of wisdom, right? So I write this. So all of that births this song that I want to play, that I submitted for my final exam for community organizing class I was doing with Dr. G. Reyes. He's a professor at Cal State East Bay, but he's also part of Homie Empowerment in East Oakland. And they're doing a lot for COVID. They're handing out toiletries, food, like I want to say every day of the week they're out there until it's all gone. So doing some awesome work. He helped to bring this song to the surface. So I want to kind of let you listen to it, and then and we'll listen to that, and then get your thoughts, and to see how you resonate with the song.
Okay.
I'm here to bear witness by the girl from the hood. The journey ain't been easy, but it's still all good. My emotional memories, sadness, and betrayal. Breaking down conditions that created my betrayal. My pops went for cigarettes, it hurt to the core. The man that I respected, the man that I adored, left to hit the highway, never to return. Violating on armor was the lesson that I learned. Meritocracy is pushing, victim of my youth. Raised up in poverty and trying to break loose. We swim all day and we never see the water. The sand in the mind, trying to pitch that bottom dollar. Developing identity while trying to find hope. Spiritually connected, that's the only way to cope. My physical memory trying to be hard. The picture perfect childhood forever being marred. High school was rough, it was hoop that got me through. Exposure to gunplay surrounded by hell abuse. One day you get woke up and wonder what you see. Who am I? Who are we? Where we been? Where we be? The council's never called to discuss next steps. I feel a little gypped and a lot of disrespect. My coach did his best, but the ball got dropped. My mama ain't to blame, she was working around the clock. My pop served a education should be free. It's the class of my parents put a fast one on me. They never even told me that I qualified for such. Stacking student loans, I had Christ as my crutch. I think about my struggle, my purpose, and my worth. I'm hashtagging Latham as I contemplate the hurt. I always made grades, I always did the work. Didn't use the GI, but I still mark my turf. I'll address my struggle. I'll address my trouble. We are resilient, believe it. We must learn to remember without a tremble the things we've learned to forget. I found a new source of power to sustain the oppressed. That inner awakening, the spirit possessed. Catalyzing change that we birth out of memory. Moving from being and always becoming. Feel the ancestors' breath in the birds and the bees. I feel the ancestors' heart on the ground in the trees. As I try to make critical sense of my life. The spirit moves in and keeps me grounded with right. Reconciliation and alignment with power. When I recall, I have hope every hour. Authentically me. I'm ready for action. Meeting about a meeting is a waste of my passion. I got the language, the culture, it all down pat. But I'ma keep cultivating and writing my raps. Cause if the right
just hear it, they can traumatize that. Cause I'm a beast from the city and I bet you know that. They didn't woke up my spirit, so they better watch out. I once was lost, but now I'm found. The work gon' hurt, but don't lose hope. Teach me skills so I can grow. The college got slick and tried to play us out. With COVID-19, there's no discount. Here we go again, institutional oppression. The teacher got a wrong perceived passion for aggression. I gotta send an email, I gotta state my piece. The college out of line, trying to rip me where I eat. How they gonna try to make the students eat the course? They know we understand that we cannot take that loss. Start a revolution, I can feel it in my bones. The wind and the water and nature is my home. I never can forget where the hell I came. Commence the work of life, cause I'm done with the game. I'll address my struggle, I'll address my trouble. We are resilient, believe it. We must learn to remember without a tremble the things we've learned to forget. We won't breathe like a family who has no hope as we march toward the process of the journey of soul. Checking boxes, losing members as the game grows cold. Trying to shake out the past of imposter syndrome. Working hard in the trenches, trying to deepen our links. We working in water, we working the kinks. We building, we sowing, we planting, we growing. Lifting the voices in different ways alone. We strive to do our best every day we wake up. That sensory memory is making us numb. Your privilege, my zillions, your privilege, my purpose in life is to kill these conditions. I contemplated school and I counted the course. I can't be a worker, I'm fit for the boss. I'm piecing the loopholes and climbing the ladder. There's nothing to gain, you lose yourself in the matter. We are the diaspora, our culture's alive. Lifting the voices, ancestral pride. The stories, the songs, the rights, the wrongs, it's all intertwined in our cultural songs. My granny used to say, baby, just keep on living. Know that you pass will be there in the end. Treat people good the way you want to be treated. Once y'all depart, make sure they got what they needed. Keep my head down and work in this line. The Black woman's motto, it should be a crime. Nobody ever stands and represents us. Just holler at Rosa that day on the bus. We get to the point where that's all we can take. It's almost like we need a reality break. The struggle was real, but resilience was lit. We ready to mobilize and dismantle this shit.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. You know, they laughed at me. They said nobody writes three verse songs no more, Rika. They spans ain't that long. I said, well, I come from the Too Short era. I think that song might have been 12 minutes. So
right.
But
without the chorus.
Okay. So yeah, that is what I turned in for my final exam. Maybe not that beat. He got it a little, it was really raw and uncut. And then I'm like, I'm not really when I was young, from the age of maybe 8 to about 18, I thought I was gonna be a rapper, a gangsterous rapper. But yeah, that went away. So this is like my first rap in like 20-something years, since high school, really, right? I just stopped. And so when we did it, they were like, oh, but you can't use the beat because you gotta get permission. And I said, I ain't trying to put this on no SoundCloud or nothing. I'm just using this as a tool to discuss like education and inequity in education. And
right.
So I would love to just get your first reaction to the song and what you heard.
I loved it. It was you. We grew up listening to what was the song you used to always listen to? Product of the was it Product of the Ghetto?
Victim of the Ghetto, College Boy.
Yeah.
That was my anthem for years.
So it kind of gave me that feel, okay, because it broke down everything about you in your eyes, and being that I was there, you know, I felt it. And it shows how easy, because somebody looking from the outside would be like, what trauma you had? You know, what you look like you lived a good life, you know, both your parents, as far as through high school, through elementary and sports, and your parents were there. It's like, oh my goodness, I never knew, because again, a lot of us don't show the trauma. Woe is me. A lot of people don't know, grew up in the ghetto, poverty, Geneva Towers. You know what I mean? And I don't think today we show that. You know what I mean? I don't show I'm from the hood. I don't. And it's just who I am. It's not that I'm sneaking. Can you grab my speaker? It's not that I'm trying to.
That's called raw and uncut.
Right. Sorry, the volume ain't too high, so I'm trying to make it a little higher. It's not that I don't want people to know that I'm from, 1414A Sunnydale. But that's not me.
And that don't define you.
Say that again.
I was like, and that it doesn't define who you are.
Right. So hearing that, it will resonate with a lot of people, but a lot of times if you don't say nothing, people don't know. I suffer from mental illness. I've suffered for all my life, but didn't start handling it until I was in my 20s, 20 years ago. And a lot of people don't know that because I don't show that as a woman out here, 2 kids, handling my business, in a job that I've had over 15 years, and in a supervisory role.
Right. Because you got your woman power suit on.
Say it again.
So they used to say, people used to like to use, because you know how to pull your big girl panties up, but I'm saying you got your woman power suit on. So
right.
You got to navigate, right, these systems and these roles that we take with that power suit.
Right.
Big girl panties, that they still trying to equate you. You still being called a girl. No. After everything I've overcome and been resilient through and created, okay?
Right.
I'm wearing a woman's black power suit at that.
Right.
What else is like gonna throw at you?
Exactly. And I'm ready.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it may be off topic, but with everything that has happened in 2020, I cannot sit back and say, oh, woe is me. I have to be able to say, okay, this is what I have to deal with. What am I going to do? Mm-hmm. I can't just stay at home and sit in the bed and rock back and forth like, turn it off. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. I have to say, okay, I have to go to work. And for me, it's better that I go to work. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to stay at home in their bubble. That safe place is not, I cannot do that because it's going to hinder me more than help me. So I need to get up, make sure I constantly wash my hands, make sure I'm conscious of what I touch and what I do, wear my mask, go to work, do my work, because there are people depending on me.
Right.
And I'm not talking about my kids and my family.
How much your team?
I'm talking about the public that benefits from the work that I do at work. So I need to say, okay, yes, COVID, they gonna handle it. I ain't worried about unemployment. I ain't worried about extra stimulus. Whether you give it to me or not, I'm gonna have a roof over my head. We gonna have food in our bellies, and we gonna live day by day and do what we need to do.
That's right.
Plain and simple. I mean, growing up, you wouldn't really, I mean, for me, I don't really look at, oh my God, we were so poor. I had clothes on my back. I had a great meal, other than when my mama tried to make us liver. But, you know, it was say that again.
I said, or try to make you eat some onions.
Girl, you know, but I'm alive. Yeah. At 47 years old, I survived. I did not die of starvation. I didn't fall prey to all the things that happen in, you know, the ghetto, as they would say, that I lived. I'm here. I lived in San Francisco, born, raised. I lived in Oakland. I lived in Hayward. Hell, I lived in Richmond. So all these places that are so bad and have such high rate of fatalities, murders, I'm still here.
Absolutely.
I still get up every day. I still smile. You know, so I want more people to know. Do your best not to fall prey to what's going on around us. You don't have to. You know, if you need, some of us need extra help. I go to therapy. I see, as a matter of fact, I think I saw him last week. And it helps me. It's not what I was told before. Oh no, you don't want to go. Oh, you don't want to tell them people your business, or you don't want them people to tell you that your parents did something wrong. All that negativity didn't hinder me. I sought that help. And today I'm grateful that I sought that help, because I do think it's helpful. And I encourage others to use that resource if you're going through something. You can't sit there and allow yourself to diagnose and treat your own issues, because that's when you fall into these other things, you know, self-medicate.
And I hear you, and I just want to just put a pin there for 1 second.
Okay.
Can we put that? I have a question for that at the end of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
So I would love for you to share some of the resources that you may want to share with individuals that may watch the episode. Okay. But I want to turn our attention back to education, just because that is the topic for the week. Okay. And I know that our young people, they were saying all these adults are stressed and depressed. And I'm like, so what do you think is happening to the young people? They are too. And so I would love for you to share, if you have any resources for young people, for parents that need resources for young people at the end. I see you thinking, I see you with. But right now, I want you to think back. We just lost our grandmother in June. So I wanted to have a moment where we just celebrated her, because I think at some really important times in our childhood, she was there, she stepped in, and we had her until 87. And the crazy part is she was 43 when I was born. And I was like, ever since I met her, she kept telling me, the Lord gonna call me home. She was dying. I'm like, lady, and I made 44 today. Happy birthday, Revolutionary Rika. But my point is I made 44 and I'm thinking about her at 43 telling us our whole childhood that she was dying, and we really believed it. And up until her dying days had a right mind,
Yes.
very strong spiritually, and could be feeling really down physically and probably mentally, and would see one of us in need and could perk up her spirit, could perk up in a way that would give us these pearls of wisdom. So as I ask these questions, please, if anything connects with her, I would love for you to share that as well.
Okay.
As you think back on your time in public school and when you were in public school, what were some of the challenges you faced as a Black female student? And then if you could describe the culture of care at these schools or lack thereof, meaning when you were feeling isolated or dismissed or ignored, was there a culture of care of people that you could go to? Please describe that. Or if there wasn't any. And then what are some of your high and low points during your academic career?
I'm thinking I was just a kid doing kid stuff until I think I went to Benjamin Franklin, San Francisco. Woo!
Ilmo.
Exactly. And at that point, it was just like I felt alone. I had friends, associates, but this was a whole new world, changing classes, and you know, you like this person, and I don't recall services. I can't say that there were any services, but at that point, I really didn't. I don't think I, sought out any.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, we stayed in Fillmore with grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And, school during the week, Friday night choir rehearsal, church on Sunday, as far, what, I don't remember even, I think I was a little rebellious. And again, I just say that, dealing with mental illness, not knowing why I was going through some things and not understanding.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna go to the office for? Going to the office got you in trouble.
Yeah.
So I really didn't seek, and I don't, other than being in the classroom, I can't really remember, other than high school, people actually reaching out as far as administrators, things like that. I will say in high school, I think was it Mr. Huey? I might have been junior high. But one of the administrators, I was late to school every day. Didn't live that far, but I was late to school every day. In high school, Tennessee High, Hayward, woo!
I'm just curious of why were you late to school every day?
Now I know, because of the mental illness. I have anxiety really bad. So that transition from one place to another causes the anxiety. All the things that could possibly happen in between the two would cause me to not want to leave out the house. So I have to actually coach myself, which I still do this to today. I have to coach myself to leave the house, and my goal is to make it to my desk. And there are times now when it's a little harder in the mornings. I sit back and I rock back and forth, if something's going on, in the news, which I will say a lot of the protests now, things like that, are causing a lot of that anxiety in me. So now at 47, I have to wake up earlier and allow time for me to do all that in order to get where I'm going.
So
I didn't know that then.
Right, because you weren't aware.
No.
But can you recall any adult that would notice, that was in your life at that time, that could notice that something was amiss?
And then that was the point that I was actually trying to make. This administrator, and I can't remember his name. I don't know if he was there when you were there. Asian guy. I think he was like assistant.
I think he left when I came. You talking about Tennyson?
Yeah.
He was like Miss Oldham and them. No,
yes.
When I came, he was gone.
Okay. So I was always late.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him saying something about, oh, that's just that girl that's always late. And it was just like, well, F you, whatever, so it's like, but I don't recall anything happening as far as, I never got suspended or expelled for being late all the time. It was just, that's her.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they just dismissed it or what. I do know that it did, affect my grade in that first class, but I don't recall anybody, really stepping in and sitting down and, talking to me about that. But how many, making it about race, there weren't any African American in high school, administrators, couple teachers, but nobody to really sit back and pull your coattail. I could say for me, Mr. Neal did help me as far as what I wanted to do, because again, with my mental illness, that test anxiety, I can't take no SAT and all. I'm not going to college because I'm afraid to fail. I barely made it out of high school, but I remember him helping me decide, okay, well, you can go to junior college. And so I can say he did help some. But other than that, as far as like resources and things like that, I don't recall anybody really stepping in. I mean, hell, we didn't even have a school nurse. So I don't know if, now I use my experiences to help my kids.
So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing what some people would not want to share, And I want to ask you, since let's now discuss the current challenges you and your children face with education. Mm-hmm. And then, so I know you were getting ready to say that, and I'm just interested in knowing, how informed do you feel as a parent, and what strategies do you recommend for parent engagement with the district? Because just to give you some context, there's some parents I'm talking to is like, they just send email after email, and they just after it gets redundant and they're saying the same thing when they could just wait and send it all in one email. So are they over bombarding parents with too much information that's not saying much, right? Because they're basing stuff on the CDC and these things around COVID. And so they're feeling that way. Whereas other parents feel like, they never told me, and till it was too late that my child was failing or whatever it was, right? Because the ball got dropped somewhere. So just curious to know your.
Well, honestly, I'd be like, look, y'all can stop sending all these emails. But I appreciate them because you have people who need to know. I need to know something. Even though they don't know anything or they're struggling on their end, they're trying to keep you as much as informed as they are. So I can appreciate that. But I will say I was one of them people like, if y'all don't quit, I mean, you know, as a parent, I'd take that extra step. I'm signed up for um, all the emails, the phone calls. I get phone calls on my work phone, my old desk phone, my phone. It's the same message, but I have to make sure that I don't depend on my kids to bring home a piece of paper. So I'm signed up for everything. Because I can't depend on them to pay attention. Oh, it's in my backpack somewhere. I got that 2 weeks ago or whatever. I need to know so that I can ask them, oh, did so-and-so say something about, oh yeah, you know,
Mhm.
you have to be involved. I'm not the PTA mom, but I need to know. I need to make sure that I'm signed up to get progress reports every Monday. Or if the grade changes, I get an alert. Now, mind you, I get the alert, my child gets the alert. They know this. Say, what'd you say?
I have a question though. How familiar are you with the Every Student Succeeds Act that was passed under Obama before he left? And how informed are you about the resources that you have access to for your children?
As far as the act, I couldn't like recall it. Is that the one where
No Child Left, but
no child left behind?
came
Okay.
but it came to fix No Child Left Behind. So Obama's was Every Student Succeeds, Every Student so ESSA Act, right?
Uh-huh.
It was supposed to fix some of the loopholes that was wrong with No Child Left Behind.
As far as I know, um, I and only because I see No Child Left Behind because we get in the school district that my kids are in, if you are a certain number of miles away from school, you can qualify for a bus pass.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the No Child Left Behind. Other than that, I don't know because I stay on top of my goal is for you to graduate. We'll worry about everything else later. My goal is to make sure that you need the help, we get you the help. You struggling in this subject? What's this about? Why did this assignment? So again, like I said, I get the messages when the grades change. Half the time, I'll get a phone call. My son graduated. He would call me, Mom, I know you're gonna say something. This is what happened. This is okay.
So I have another kind of question to ask you. So from your perspective, what's more important to you? The test scores and them being able to pass those standardized tests, or them leaving high school prepared to go into college?
Um, I would actually say leaving high school and preparing for life.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that
Secondary pathway.
yeah, you decide you want to do, because school ain't for everybody.
Exactly. And I'm sorry
And
I said that. That was me being biased because that was my path. However, I think that um, it is wherever you're going to do in life. The other thing I wanted to just mention, because it triggered me, was when you talked about Mr. Neal helped you with SATs. But I felt like nobody ever asked me to come down and had any real college discussions with me, even with me playing sports. And Mr. Hill tried. We were late for me to do Texas Tech.
Mhm.
And they were like, you could redshirt. And I said no. So I just went on, and nobody even helped me. I waited till the first day to go sign up for Chabot. And so for me, I felt like, and they may have offered support to you, but I feel like they dropped the ball. And we're in the same household, going to the same middle and high school. So it kind of makes you, it's kind of too, and this is not the place for this, but I'll just throw this out there, like the camp thing, right?
Mhm.
I mean, very similar personalities. Yeah, I probably had on more armor.
Mhm.
However, I think it was the same thing, like two different experiences in the way that you were awarded things, even though I worked hard too. Like I got a couple things, but I'm saying down through the years, it was like you were, to me, from my perspective, you was the big one and I was the little sister. She was like, I work hard so they'll keep me, but I wasn't nothing right to write home about. That's how camp made me feel after all the years I put in. And when I see my youngsters, I'm going off. You got to bring me back. When I see my youngsters and they tell me, and it was 25 years ago that y'all, them summers that's what helped me. And I was like, what?
Right.
My youngsters, my nephews. So it's really like, okay, dang, you didn't see that value. You did because you kept me coming back. So you did. Right. So, and I appreciate the tools and the wisdom I got from it. But I guess I was looking at both experiences, hearing your point of view and how Mr. Neal helped you. I don't feel like I got that.
Well, honestly, and I think back to, it was testing where everybody was signing up for testing or something. And it was like, I'm not signing up. And it was like, well, why? Because I'm afraid to take the test. And, and I feel at that time, I was probably one of, in my little group, that was kind of like, I'm just going to go to Chabot. Everybody else was, oh, we're going to go to 4-year college and this and this and that. And I'm thinking, I'm scared, So the alternatives were, cosmetology, which I wanted to do, but I was afraid my parents would be upset. I thought they really wanted me to go to a college. So the easy road was going to be Chabot. And, I want to say he was my guidance counselor at the time, Mr. Neal. But when you came to Tennyson, so much stuff changed. You got to remember, back then, I think it was somebody messed up in accounting for the district, and it was like millions of dollars that got jacked off. So everything changed. When you came in, you guys had that block scheduling. No, we had traditional.
We didn't get block until our last year. When I was a student is when we got block. We had the regular junior.
Y'all had regular, okay. Because I remember going, that's so stupid.
Yeah, block was dumb. Block,
that's what my son just went through.
I got a 4.0 with block though, because you didn't have all them classes. It was 3, that's it. And if one of them was something fun, you ain't got a trip. Oh, I had a 4.0.
Right. Yeah, but then again, when you look at it, when you became a senior year was so much easier for me because I feel I was more mature. Absolutely. I had to take 2 classes that I flunked in the 10th grade in the 12th grade. And
I'm just curious, 10th grade, was that your most challenging year?
Yes.
Mine too.
Definitely. And honestly, I think that's everybody's. 9th grade, you're trying to figure it out, and the classes are a little easier. 12th grade is kind of like you left on your own. We finna give it to you, and you like, wait, what happened? Your body's changing, you're changing. It's so many different things. I don't know.
So when you said that, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Your body's changing. Your daughter's body is changing, not to be putting her on the spot, but how are your children managing with their academics during the pandemic on top of the stuff you just said? And that was when it was like, we didn't have all this going on. How are they managing?
So my son just graduated.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Halfway.
Which he was struggling his last year, and they don't listen to us as parents, but I tried to tell him, and I always do it to my kids. It's easy. If you read the questions, then read what you're supposed to read. A lot of times in them textbooks, the answer fully is right there to the question. It's like, that's all you got to make sure you know, easier. So you're not,
test. That's the
huh?
That's standardized tests in the culture of power. See, they didn't teach us that, but white kids know it because they teach it to them. So
Right.
that's why.
But it took me.
But memorization and drill and kill, that's why they do it, because it ain't about innovation and creativity. It's about, can you follow directions? So they trying to drill it in you. And so that's all you have to do is keep reading, just going over and over and over it.
Right. But I'll tell you when I found that out. 12th grade, Mr. Lawrence class. Mr. Lawrence? That's the one you didn't like, right? He was okay. So Mr. Lawrence class, I figured out that, and he was, if you do the homework, all the questions, then you can take the test. If you miss a question or leave it blank, if you leave it blank or don't do it, you can't take the test. Well, the questions in the book, you read the excerpt, the answer is right there. The test was exactly like the homework. Exactly. Yeah. Of course, I got an A. But I flunked it. I think this was biology. I flunked it in 10th grade for a semester. So I had to retake it in my senior year. I got an A. I flying colors through that class. And everybody kept looking at me like,
but you was but that was 2 years. And developmentally, them 2 years is crucial, because even being able, the way that I can read a text now and just extract, I don't need to take all them notes, and I can tell you what it's saying now compared to what I used to have to do. It's
right.
Developmental and it's practice, right? So
right.
Yeah, but he was me and him.
Yeah, but and you know, I look at it now and I'm like, I get it. You got to do the work in order to get the test. But that was that kind of tough love. If you don't do your homework, you're not going to be able to, you know, advance to the next section. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people got hung up on that, like, well, forget it. I don't want to do this, or, you know, and I sat in this class and there were probably 4 seniors in that class. And of course, everybody else was sophomores. Mm-hmm. But as far as the report, I aced it, which of course I was proud about. But in that, with my kids, I try and tell them, just do it. Just answer the questions to the best of your ability. Read the question first, which, mind you, my daughter did that yesterday. I said, well, did you finish it? She said, no, I was, she said, I was reading the questions and forgot to go back to read the actual article. And I'm like, okay, at least she got that part. So she'll know what she's looking for when she actually reads it. She just got to fall through. She's in 7th grade. And with her and the online schooling, it's kind of mixed. Okay. She doesn't like the video. It irritates her.
Up in her face, huh?
Yeah, right. You know, she likes that personal interaction, being at school and being in class, and she likes that part. Mm-hmm. It irritates her, the different screens with the people doing silly stuff. Again, she got to remember, y'all just came from 6th grade. It's still going to be people in there acting like they in 4th grade.
Some of them going to be turning 40 and still acting like they in 4th grade.
Right?
But thank you. I because our time is running short, so I got to move it along.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm going to have to invite you back once we get it, you know, one of them weeks with somebody cancel. You just
right.
Call. But in the next part, I want to just get what would your ideal school include? You could build your ideal school. What would it include? Thinking about curriculum, student services, faculty makeup, resources, anything, or just the design of the school. And yeah, your ideal school.
In my ideal school, you definitely would go off of what kids are interested in. being that my daughter's in 7th grade and she's interested in psychology, she ain't gonna learn nothing about psychology unless you do it on her own, or, you know, not until she gets to college. But, you know, that's something that she's interested in. So my ideal school would kind of speak to the kids and find out, okay, oh, this is what you're gonna be. I mean, y'all ask the question all the time, what do you want to be when you grow up? But most people, lawyer, doctor, you know,
Why is
whatever.
that? Because of them books that they make us read and condition us with, have us choosing that. Because
Right.
I thought I was going to be a lawyer in the 4th grade. And as much
Right.
as I loved history, a lot of people probably thought so too. However, that changed. But
that another aspect would be, you know, maybe kids don't want to be that. So more technical, more vocational classes.
You know what's interesting that you say that? A couple years ago, I was talking with, this is when I was still working for Collective Impact. I think you were I was talking to Nico about making a school where when they came in from kindergarten to 3rd grade, parents know what their kids' strengths is when they come into kindergarten. They've been, you know, raising them, rearing them for 5 years.
Right.
Coming in, I can tell you my kid learned by doing, right? Then once you assess all their skills, you might see that this kid learned best musically or through arts, right?
Right.
And we putting them in this position where they got to learn verbally from the teacher. You know, most of the time it's lecture style, right? Even if, you know, what they're showing, that's a lecture style. It's just kids.
Right.
So creating these kind of schools where it would help us determine, one, what learning style, and then what does the environment need to look like? What do we need? What manipulatives, right? It's basically how these private schools, a lot of private schools are built, especially those smaller private schools. Go on a track, and that track is the music track. So I'm grooming them because these are the skills they've already shown. They got an ear coming in the you know, those kind of things. We were talking about that and saying, like, when you saying what Evie's interested in, it would be a STEM or tech track or whatever. And really, it should tech. This is speaking to the digital divide now.
Right.
Why don't our kids, why aren't they learning coding like they learn English? Because here's the problem. The future is going to be tech. We seeing cashless society. We don't have no more coins, all this stuff. So if we know everything is going to be tech, you need to probably have a job in tech, right?
Right.
And start, and if as well as those kids know how to work iPads and all that stuff coming in, when they in, I'll be seeing 2 and 3 year olds with them. So you mean to tell me we can't start teaching kids coding in kindergarten and they wouldn't learn it?
Right. But even so, I mean, just looking at her in junior high, I think their electives were art, dance, and band. But I'm like, electives. What happened to I think I had typing, I had home ec, I had things that were gonna help me.
Life skills.
Yeah. It's like, where those classes at? Y'all need to bring them classes back too. Cause I'm like, if you can't type, you gonna have a problem once you get out of high school.
Yeah.
You know, you can be typing papers in college or whatever, but what about the person that don't go to college?
I thought they stopped teaching them handwriting.
Yeah, that too. But I tell my kids, that's your signature. You can't just go and write your name, which I see on marriage licenses all the time.
So I have a question for
you.
What recommended changes are needed for, and I'm gonna get specific here because you're talking about your son graduated, so we're gonna focus on your daughter and girls. What recommended changes are needed for African American youth girls specifically to improve academic and socio-emotional outcomes? Because you've touched on a lot of that throughout the conversation.
I think a lot of people say, well, the parents need to do this, parents need to do that. Well, if the parents were never taught,
that's right,
they're not going to do it. You know, a lot of people look at, oh, well, my mama wasn't there to help me, so they can be there to do their own thing, or I don't know nothing about that. You know, that's not my responsibility. But I think as parents, yeah, I'll be tired when I come home from work, but we need to learn how to check in. We need to learn how to ask more questions. Oh, let me go. We at Costco. Ooh, this is a book that's gonna help her with her academics. Amazon, we like to shop. You know, get a book that helps. I think I got her a math dictionary that kind of helps you with the exponents and all that. Um, there, even if there was a school strictly targeted to African Americans and teaching them students and teaching them how to do stuff, one, it might not be free because everything needs its funding. So two, there may be a handful, so not enough for as many people as there is, so everybody wouldn't get to go to it. So we have to do what we need to do to make sure that our kids succeed. You know, okay, I'm not good at math, but maybe somebody in my family is. Maybe one of the kids that go to the school. You know, all the money we spend on all these material things, pay a little kid a tutor. Can you tutor my kid? Or so honestly, I'm not leaving it up to nobody else. It's up to me to make sure that my child knows how to maneuver. And that's academically, that's in life, that's um, mentally, that, you know, I talk to my coworkers. Oh, Khan Academy. I found about Khan Academy from one of my coworkers. But then I found out from my daughter, she don't like Khan Academy. But she has other resources that she can get to.
Absolutely. And I think if you give her an assignment to look at the Every Student Succeeds Act, when she had, like in her downtime, when she tell you she bored, tell her to look it up and see which resources that you got that are yours that you just don't even know. Because that's not leaving it, that's actually saying, oh, okay, I'm gonna leave it up to myself to train her. But look, here goes some free resources that are really awesome that she can plug into for free. So they're there. And that's what I really want to see happen with our parents, them be more aware of what's out there, especially when a kid is struggling with math and English and science, because those three are what is going to get you, you know what I mean? Regardless,
Right.
if you decide to do whatever, just to get out of high school, you got to pass the English test and the math test, right?
Right.
The other thing I was going to say, I like the way that you're teaching your daughter to navigate and how to navigate. I think too also, which I think you did say this, but stress it more to her, the way to advocate for herself. Because in a space, if you are feeling isolated, dismissed, or ignored, this is up to you to go up there and let the teacher know. Because now that I'm an adult, I understand the teacher is going through their own shit too.
Right.
And even the ones that are, it's their calling. You got 30 kids or however many kids are in that classroom, or however many 90 kids that you see throughout the day that you're responsible for, and that vicarious trauma from everything they're going through gets laid on you. The trauma of your teaching peers, right? All of these things. So I appreciate that. And then what I heard throughout was from you, like some recommendations would be bringing back the life skill classes that we had that kids are not getting, and most of them can't do because parents don't have time to sit home. They, like, life is complicated. And then the other thing I hear as a recommendation is the destigmatizing mental health, so that our young people can seek out the resources that many times are on campuses, but they don't know because one, if someone says anything about mental health or you need to talk to somebody, they think that's deeming them crazy and they're not gonna go. I think the thing grandma said to me at the end was, it's good to talk sometime. And so I didn't like therapy. I tried it, whatever. I didn't like it. But when grandma, I realized that was my therapy, because I would go talk to her and she'd tell me these stories. And at the end of the day, like, he'd make it all better. So at the end of the day, maybe that's who my therapist was. She just was.
Right. Right.
So I appreciate you, you emphasizing those things. And I guess I really want you the last thing I want you to kind of share out about is, have you taken any action to advocate for equity in education or any other issues that the Black community faces, which I know you have with mental health? And so now back to the conversation we put a pin in from the beginning. LaVette Grant, last words.
Two things. One thing I want to say before I get to that. As parents, as people, yeah, I'm not on the front line. I'm not marching. I'm not doing all that. But I am sharing I'm open. I say hi to everybody. I talk to everybody. If I see you going through something and I have information, my job is to share that with you. And again, that's putting the ball in your court. But if you know, well, maybe not. My kids have been going to therapy. My son was in second grade. Some type of therapy, whether it was at the school or, and learning how to deal with their emotions is really what I was trying to get them to do. I advocate for them back to school night, first 2-3 days of school. I take time off. I go up to the school. I introduce myself to their teachers and give them a little tidbit of who my child is. My son is borderline ADHD. Not enough for services, but he has certain things. So if he's not paying attention or he's agitated, don't knock him down and think, oh, he's just being disruptive.
That's right.
Take that second and say, okay, Eddie, is there something that I can help you with? You need some time. You need me to assign you something different, what have you. My daughter is very big on fairness for everyone.
Yeah.
Don't dismiss her voice.
Yeah.
This is who she is.
Advocate for your babies.
Exactly. And I don't go combatively or argumentatively. I go professionally, but with strength. This is that. Where were you when this happened? Like, oh, I didn't know you were aware. I talk to my child. Me and my child has conversations. I know every single kid that she deals with and what they did and how they did it. So that again, you have to talk to your child. You have to have that relationship with your child so that you are aware. You can't just say, oh, it's all their fault or it's all my kid's fault. You have to know who your child is, know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
If somebody said, oh, Eddie cussed me out, yeah, I'm sure he probably did, but you probably pushed several buttons in order to get him there. So we have to understand who we are as a family and then advocate and not aggressively, just go up there. Okay, I'd like to have a meeting. Let me sit down, talk to you, whatever. This is my kid. This is what maybe need to happen. And I tend to tell quickly, my son was having issues with being on time.
3 minutes.
Okay, being on time. So we ended up in this meeting about attendance with these other parents. And I told one of the parents, because she was like, you had said earlier, I didn't know none of this and this and this and that. Well, I don't know how to do that. And I told her, I said, Power School, put it on your phone. If they late, it pops up, they late. He knows I have it on my phone. So he knows to contact me. Mom, I was running late or whatever. Or, these are things so that I can know immediately and not depend on somebody else telling me the information. So for me, I advocate for mine. I understand mine.
Yeah.
I know if he late, why he late, or and I'll get on him. But at the same time, teach them to understand the importance of being on time and not being disruptive and things like that. Don't let them put you in a box. This kid bad. That kid ain't bad. That kid got some things going on.
That's right. Trauma.
Yes, definitely. So we all
when you
work
come back, that's gonna be our topic.
trauma. Oh, I'm all about trauma. I know all the trauma.
Okay, so when I'll let you know. I'm gonna do my scheduling here soon, and I'm gonna let you know when I want you back, because I definitely want to talk about trauma and healing from trauma and the different. It's so many different methods, so many different ways that you can, and I encourage people to seek out ways to heal from their trauma. So
Right.
I'm wrapping us up because literally we got less than a minute. I said, so now to change it, they're gonna be hour and 15 minutes because see that you like to talk.
Dude,
So
I do. I gotta get it out. This is my therapy.
last thought that you want to send us home with, and yours will be the last voice they hear.
Sharing is still advocating. You don't have to march. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to be a PTA mom. You don't have to, write letters. Share your experiences. Talk to somebody. All that is still advocating.
Yes, it is.
It's still advocating. So don't dismiss the little that you do, because a little can go a long way.
Thank you. Thank you again for being our first guest on Critical Sense Making Sessions. See you in 2 weeks, September 13th.